Call the meeting to order at 6 o'clock. Please join me for the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America, to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. Could I have a roll call, please?
Yes, of course. Councilmember Switzer.
Here.
Councilmember Phillips.
Here.
Councilmember Holt.
Here.
Councilmember McCafferty.
Attending remotely.
Thank you. Councilmember Shacker.
Here.
Vice Mayor Granillo.
Here.
Mayor Armstrong.
Here.
Our town attorney's present.
Thank you very much. Item 2, introduction, presentation, and proclamations. Item A, presentation and update by Judge Angela Bradshaw Napper on municipal court operations. Madam Magistrate, you're up.
And good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the council, members appearing remotely, and members of the public. I have to say, I was telling the town manager that it's awkward to have my back to the group. I'm used to being up there, so forgive me for my awkwardness if there is any. What I want to talk about today is just kind of an overview of operations of the court. As you well know, I started in this position on July the 1st of 2025, so I am new in my role to the court and wanted to give an update about what we've been up to and what it looks like. So if you could get the next slide for me, or do I do the slides? Okay. Perfect. So what I'm going to cover briefly are the matters that are before the court, just to refamiliarize you with the kinds of cases that we're seeing in the court, some statistics, staffing issues, security, technology, and then also looking forward. We are a court of limited jurisdiction. There are actually 5 justice courts in Yavapai County and 8 municipal courts. So we are one of those 8. We hear criminal misdemeanors, we hear civil traffic offenses, local ordinance violations, all of which occur within the town limits. I have the authority to hear petitions for protective orders. That would include orders of protection, injunctions against harassment, and also injunctions against workplace harassment. And I have the ability to hear those not only within the jurisdiction, but outside the jurisdiction. One of the ones that comes up to the top of my head was something that happened in Ash Fork, and the person drove here rather than Williams because their car was struggling to go uphill toward Williams. So they came to Chino Valley for that protective order, but those are effective statewide. So I have the authority to hear those as well as search warrants. And we're a full-time court. We're open 4 days a week from 7 a.m. to 4 p.m. My staff is there full-time with the exception of my court security officer. I am there only part-time. So we have scheduled hearings 2 days per week. Average casework, where my staff is processing payments. They're providing defendants with information about how citations can be resolved. They're accepting filings from lawyers, from pro per litigants, calendaring, responding to requests and inquiries from the state, from the Arizona Department of Corrections, from other municipalities across the state and across the county. On a daily basis, I would be hearing petitions for and issuing protective orders as necessary and conducting initial appearances after recent arrests as required. Most of the initial appearances, since I am only in Chino Valley 2 days a week, I have the opportunity to do those remotely. So I can do those from Prescott or from Jerome when I am sitting on the bench for the Jerome Municipal Court. On Tuesdays, when we have court hearings, we have arraignments, orders to show cause hearings, as well as civil traffic hearings in the afternoon with Chino Valley PD officers. On Wednesdays, we hold pretrial conferences, change of plea hearings, sentencings, and bench trials. We've not yet had a jury trial, so in the last 6 months. So if we had to do that, we would work around scheduling and likely need to have another day. But as I understand it, it's been a long time since since Chino Valley's had a jury trial. I've had 2 in Jerome in the last 3 years. So I think folks are, I don't want to say more litigious, but willing to put matters to the test. From an administrative perspective, we have monthly financial reconciliation responsibilities as well as statistical reporting that we submit to the Arizona Administrative Office of Courts. There is also annual reporting. We just had a run of that. Our annual minimum accounting standards report is due in at the end of the calendar year. We have personnel surveys, expenditure surveys, and also time standards reporting that are due annually. A quick note on time standards, that's one of the things that I tend to be a bit of a stickler about. And one of the things that I intend on implementing are quarterly time standards reviews so that we can more effectively track where we may be coming up short in terms of taking too long to process a case. A recent change from the Administrative Office of the Courts was extending the timelines within which DUI cases are supposed to be adjudicated. And I think part of the reason for that was knowing that collecting the data, particularly if there are blood results, takes more time. And so it was good because I think a lot of particularly small municipalities were feeling the crunch of being able to meet those time standards when we're dealing with crime labs that are simply overwhelmed by getting those results back and out. So those have been a little bit relaxed, but I still want to make sure that we're cognizant of staying on top of those and effectively and timely delivering justice and case resolution for the community and the litigants that appear before the court. I have annual judicial training, and my staff has annual COJET training. And it's important, very important to me that we are leaders in our limited jurisdiction courts of taking care of those courses timely, thoughtfully, and substantively. And I'm really glad that my staff wants to do that as well. And I am an advocate of continuing professional growth. I lost one of my clerks in my other court recently because she went on to do bigger and better things. And to my mind, I think that's a good thing for her, and actually a good thing for the court too, because if we are a place that staff members can come and grow and learn and contribute even further to the community, that's a good thing. I've encouraged my current staff to participate in second language courses, community college courses, and also professional expansion through other professional organizations and through the Administrative Office of Court, which actually offers specific courses in court management. I'm really proud of my staff too, because I've been encouraging them to come to the employee connections that occur on a monthly basis, and they love that. I don't know that they took the time or opportunity to do that previously, and I think it's really, really important to feel connected to the community. I come to leadership meetings when I can, given my part-time schedule and other professional obligations, but I know it's really important, and I was talking with one of the other department heads earlier about the importance of being part of the community, being part of the other departments. We have a completely different role, and we're not talking about water or budgets or land or development. We are serving sort of a small but fundamentally essential function for the members of the community and the people that come before the court. And so I'm really grateful to be a part of those things. And now numbers, I love numbers. My sister's a CPA, so my mom was really sad that neither of us turned out to be doctors, but we all love numbers. Fiscal year, Chino Valley had 2,217 filings in fiscal year 2025. That was down a little bit to 2,059. We are already on track to outpace both of those numbers for fiscal year 26, with 1,242 case filings from July 1 to December the 31st. The breakdown there is, you can see, is primarily civil traffic offenses. And as I understand it, if there's increased enforcement, that's going to likely result in increased filing. That's going to increase in some additional traffic tickets and additional filing. Same thing with growth in population. As there's more people, there may be more opportunity for infractions. I'm not quite certain how it relates to felony charges coming out of our jurisdiction, because those aren't numbers that we see. Those would be filed either directly in Superior Court or in the Justice Court. So I would leave you to Chief McIntyre for those statistics. But it looks like we're trending toward exceeding last year. And the reason I pointed out that there are 8 municipalities in Yavapai County is that we're the 3rd busiest now. For the past 2 years, we have outpaced Cottonwood with our filings. So we're the 3rd busiest municipal court, just behind Prescott and Prescott Valley. And so I think we may be on trend to continue based on growth and things that I'm seeing. So next is, how are we doing with closing the cases that are filed? And we're doing pretty good. So there were 2,236 case terminations. Again, the overwhelming percentage of those are criminal traffic. Those are generally much shorter to resolve. They have much shorter time standards. Criminal traffic takes a little bit longer sometimes. The offense that we see most often that takes time to resolve is driving on a suspended license. That is a Class 1 misdemeanor in the state of Arizona, and it takes folks a long time to get their licenses back. I tend to be pretty lenient in terms of timelines until we get to a certain point. Then it's fish or cut bait. But what I really want to do is try to serve in a way as a judicial officer that is encouraging people to come into compliance with the law. So if somebody needs a couple extra weeks to get their license back and they can come in and demonstrate to the court that they're in compliance, I would much rather resolve the case in that manner. And protective orders, it seems like there's an ebb and flow to the kinds of filings that we get. When I first started in July, it felt like I had 2 to 3 protective orders every single week. Thankfully, that has sort of smoothed out over time, but I'm seeing an uptick in the number of people that are requesting contested civil traffic hearings. So it's always something. I will say that one of the reasons I think that our numbers are sort of on track with filings compared to terminations is that we do enjoy a good relationship with the town prosecutor. I think that he appreciates the necessity of being efficacious and efficient in his work and works well with the local attorneys. Where I see some stumbling blocks, and one of the reasons that I want to better track time standards is when we have, with all due respect to the town attorney, when we have lawyers appearing from outside the jurisdiction, there tends to be a willingness to kick the can down the road because it's harder to drive up here and take a whole day to go to court when they can cover maybe 5 or 6 different cases at a Phoenix municipal court. And so I really try to be even-handed, but I hold those guys the feet to the fire because they can appear remotely, and that's one of the things I'll talk about in a little bit. So I really want to improve communication so that they are just as efficiently resolving cases as our local lawyers are. I talked a little bit about staffing already, and we have one full-time court administrator, Rhonda Apolinar, who's been there, I believe, 23 years. And she has been an absolute rock as I've assumed responsibility for the court. She has a ton of institutional knowledge and has been really helpful in getting me on board with the kinds of things that I needed to know and also helping to understand the local culture of Chino Valley. She's been a resident here for a long time too, and I think her family roots run deep. I have 2 full-time clerks, Elena and Sherry. They're delightful and work really, really hard. I have to encourage them to take some breaks throughout the day. And we have a part-time court security officer. I'm the part-time judge, obviously. We have 1 unfilled part-time clerk position. Rhonda's out of town right now, but I spoke with her before she left, and we're going to be advertising to fill that part-time position. I think that it would alleviate some of the stress that our staff is currently feeling with the volume that we have. And also, one of the things I want to do is make sure that we have the opportunity for cross-training. I've worked in a lot of other courts that are very siloed in terms of their court roles for court staff, and I want for my staff to be cross-trained so that somebody can cover not only the civil desk, the front desk, but be the in-court clerk as well. And with only 2 people, it's difficult to train one because then that leaves a very vacant spot. So I'm hoping that we can fill that part-time position so we have a better cross-training opportunity and make sure that we're staying on track with numbers and filing and organizational things that we need to be responsive to. I'm really grateful to my staff. They've been really thoughtful and opening to me. I know it's always hard to have a new kid in the sandbox, and especially when the kid is the boss. And they've all worked together for a long time. So they've been very gracious and thoughtful, and so I'm really, really grateful to that. And hats off to Terry and Laura from HR as well. They've made me feel very welcome, and when I've needed to reach out about things, extremely responsive. So it feels good to be on a winning team. Next, court security. This is really, really an important piece, and I see, right now, nationally, we are experiencing a lot of violence against judges, against law enforcement, and it's most recently there was a judge and his wife that were shot in Indiana, and those are always terrible stories to see in the news, and it's frightening. but it's a reality. And I think we need to make sure that we are cognizant of court security, not only for me as the judicial officer, but certainly for my staff. They've got kids that they need to go home to. They've got futures and families, and also for our court visitors. People are coming to court to take care of a traffic ticket, and they should feel extremely safe. And so I think the presence of the court security officer is significant and makes a difference. We had a court security assessment. We're required to do them every three years by Arizona's AOC, by the Supreme Court. And when I accepted this position, we weren't due for another year to have our security assessment, but I wanted to know where I stood. And so a lot of that was cleaning up some old records, figuring out where we were, and having that new assessment done so we could identify kinds of things that we needed to improve. I've already been working collaboratively with other departments to implement structural and procedural improvements. Thankfully, I've had cooperation from Public Works, from the police department, from human resources, and from IT. So it's like all hands on deck. And I'm really, really, again, grateful. There's a significant amount of gratitude to know that everybody values the same kinds of things in a small town. We have already identified some action items, including updating our emergency action plans, which address not only violent security risks, but also, emergencies like a flood or, good heavens, God forbid, a fire or something. And so along with that, and I know the town knows this, is coming up with COOPS, the continuing of operations plan. That's really frightening to think that we all still have desktop computers. How are we going to get those out to go do business elsewhere? So we're working on it. And some of the security issues were minor things that have already been addressed. So it was quick fixes. And that's what I want to do. My goal is to implement as many of the recommended improvements over the next 3 years before we're due for that next assessment. And I think that we can achieve most of those utilizing funds that we already have in our security fund and or by applying to grants from the Supreme Court for the state of Arizona. Next is technology, and we're also implementing some changes to better align with technology goals and technology advances. Many of the tools that we have available to us we've had for some time, and they just haven't been used. So an arraignment is the perfect example. My group advisory, and I know that one of the council members came and sat in and observed court, the group advisory that I give takes about, if I talk really quickly, which I try not to, and I know that I am now, I can probably do that in about 7 minutes flat. And so that means that then a person that comes in and I talk with them about their case individually, they're there for maybe 10 minutes for their case, but they may be waiting for someone else ahead of them. They may have driven up from Phoenix and taken a day off of work to come deal with a Class 3 misdemeanor criminal speeding ticket. By implementing use of remote appearances through Teams and or Zoom, we're using Teams right now, I've found anecdotally that people are more likely to come for those appearances when they can appear remotely, because it means they don't have to take time off of work. And I spoke with you recently. The example was on one day we had a woman appearing from Peach Springs. We had somebody from the Tucson area and somebody from Scottsdale. They all appeared remotely. They were happy that they didn't have to take their entire day off to come up here, and matters were resolved more timely. So my goal is to not supplant in-person appearances, because I don't know that that's necessarily the answer either. There's still a significant importance to confront and cross-examine the witnesses against you, and I think that's something you do in person. But there are hearings that can effectively be done remotely. Arraignments, order to show cause hearings. I'm considering modifications to civil traffic hearings also. There was a lawyer recently who was complaining about a judge in another jurisdiction, not Yavapai County, that had required a client who'd gotten a ticket and lived internationally to come back to contest that ticket. And I thought, who has that kind of money? But anyway, I digress. So we're doing our best to use technology a little bit better, including reaching out to AOC for help desk tickets. Everything's a ticket, everything's a platform, everything's a this, you know this. I had to learn Civic Clerk, I had to learn Hello Teams, like there's all these different platforms. And so that gets passed on to the consumer. And so that's one of the things that we want to try to do. It also ensures greater safety, because for the defendants that come, that come to the court and they're incarcerated, I see them over Teams while they're still at the jail. So it saves a significant amount in cost for YCSO staff, not driving people back and forth. That's timely, it's expensive, and it's a security risk. So when I'm doing all of those initial appearances, those are by video over the remote appearance. So, and again, I just want to underscore how delighted I've been with responses from IT staff, because I'm having trouble with the return button, let alone setting up my screens. So they've been really, really helpful. So looking toward the future, I really want to be able to maintain sustainable staffing. Again, I think as the community grows, the court is going to experience some growth. I want to continue to be efficient with our use of technology. I feel like technology is something we're chasing all the time. In some ways, it feels like going backwards. The Administrative Office of Courts recently banned the use of USBs, the little portable thumb drives. So we can't use those. And one of their solutions was, we'll go back to floppy disks because there's less viruses. And I thought, my heck, who knows? My kids don't even know what a floppy disk is. So what are we going to do? So it's sort of trying to be innovative and making sure that we're pushing the envelope forward, and also in a way that's accessible for our consumers. What I'm finding is that actually the ability to use things like digital signatures and email, everybody has a smartphone. And I don't see a lot of people that even use email. If you're under a certain age, you don't even check your email. Again, my kids are very informative in that regard. But I think that it's making that accessible to consumers. One of the things I was thinking how great it would be on the citations to have a QR code that people could scan to make their payment. And like, those are the things rattling around in my head, making it more efficient. And that also includes digital record keeping and digital signatures, as I said, but also not compromising being there in person, because one of the reasons I'm really grateful that we have local attorneys that are willing to take court-appointed work is the quality of lawyering that we're getting. Our town prosecutor does a fine job. We have now 3 attorneys that are willing to accept court-appointed work, and they're quality lawyers. But quite frankly, much of our county is a legal desert. There are not enough lawyers to go around. And I feel like remote appearances from that side of the argument or the equation cut both ways. There's no reason for a lawyer to move to rural Yavapai County when that lawyer can have a practice and a lower cost of living and live in Phoenix and appear remotely up here. It simply makes it difficult. And so I think that we're at a real crossroads in terms of what kinds of things we are going to require in person and what kinds of things we're going to encourage to be virtual. And again, I want to, as a leader for the court, cultivate existing relationships with town partners. I want to respond to, again, the ever-changing landscape of court security concerns, formalize some of the relationships with those defense attorneys. We've got them. I want to keep them. And I want to continue to demonstrate a high level of fiscal responsibility without compromising our standards or essential function of the court. I am committed to impartiality, fairness, and in an efficient and responsive manner that it meets the needs of the community, ensures the public's trust and confidence in the justice system. And for years, I taught Sunday school for my kids and was a scout leader. And so many times I would just tell the kids that they needed to be nice and do their best. And that's what we're trying to do. And I would welcome any questions that you may have.
Questions for the magistrate? Bob?
No, sir. Thank you, Judge.
All right, thank you.
Larry?
No, sir.
Robert?
No, thank you.
Sherry? No. John?
No questions, but I'm glad the council selected you.
Eric?
No, thanks. Thank you.
2 questions. What is COJET training?
COJET, it is continuing of judicial education training, continuity of judicial education training. And so that's what the court staff has to do.
Okay. And how many second language staffers do you have?
We have 1 clerk that speaks Spanish. She's not certified to be a court interpreter, but I know that she's taken some of the coursework. And the county, so for interpreting services, for Spanish language, we have a court interpreter that is bilingual English and Spanish, and we contract through the Superior Court, and that's part of our judicial JSF funds, so part of our funding, we pay for him to come to court and do that. They have just hired a second interpreter, so our accessibility for Spanish language court interpreting just went up, so that's a good thing.
Okay, great.
For other languages, we use Language Line, which is a dial-up service, and I've only had to use that a handful of times.
Okay, great. And I
Okay.
think that's the first time I've ever heard anybody ask for more lawyers.
Well, I was a lawyer first, so.
Thank you very much.
All right, thank you.
Item B, presentation by Terry Denby, Town Manager, on an emergency purchase relating to the Bright Star subdivision.
Good evening, Mayor and Council. As you know, we're trying to be exceptionally transparent anytime we do a purchase that pushes against our procurement rules. We follow those very closely. This particular procurement, as you can see, is at $4,930.10, and our ceiling is $5,000. If something goes above that, it could go above $5,000, and I never want it to look like we're intentionally taking something off to just be below that threshold. And if there's a chance we may go above that threshold and I authorize that purchase, one of the things our code says is I'm supposed to report that to council. So anytime we even come close to that in instance of being transparent and open communication, as you've seen, I've come to you several times with these kinds of things. So in this one, Bright Star Unit Phase 2 is a 91-unit housing development located on the east side of town. Grading activities commenced in November. The contractor recently discovered a culvert that was crushed. And this is our infrastructure. This should have been ours to repair, but they had the people and the equipment out there. They gave us a cost to do it. Since they were out there, they were going to split the cost because it was near some other work, so it was only going to cost us $24,605. And rather than go out to bid like we are required to do if it's something is at 5 and get 3 bids, we could take advantage of them, get a much cheaper cost, and get it done quickly. So I authorized that purchase for that vendor, or for this contractor, to do the work on our behalf and bill us for the half of it. So I'm just reporting out that I made that decision that pushed against our procurement rules.
Okay. Questions for the Town Manager?
No, sir.
Larry?
No, sir, good job.
Robert?
Just curious, do they know what caused the collapse?
I don't think so. Do you know, Steve? He could probably, I'll let the expert.
Good evening, Steve, Town Engineer. So this is off in the shoulder, and we assume this has probably been there for a while, and it's probably truck traffic.
So it was caused by, unintentionally by somebody or driving off the road.
Yeah, so this is between the pavement and the ditch adjacent to it.
But the concrete will prevent that from happening in the future.
Correct.
Sherry?
No.
John?
I do not.
Eric?
No.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Item 3, call to the public.
Call to the public is an opportunity for the public to address the council on any issue within the jurisdiction of the council. Public comment is at the discretion of the council and not required by law. Individuals are limited to speak for 3 minutes. Yielding of time will not be permitted. The total time for call to the public may be up to 30 minutes per meeting. Council action taken as a result of public comment on items not on the agenda will be limited to directing staff to study the matter, scheduling the matter for further consideration and decision at a later date, or responding to criticism. Public comment is invited and encouraged. However, personal attacks on individuals is not appropriate. Disrespectful behavior will not be tolerated. This includes loud outbursts, profanity, and disruptive discussions among our audience. I do have a couple comment cards filed, Mayor.
Okay.
First one is Rhonda Ceremony. Yes, a town of Chino Valley resident.
Good evening, ma'am.
Good evening, Town Council. My name is Rhonda Ceremony. I live on Fire Sky Lane here in Chino. I have a few questions in regards to the Perkins Airstrip Fire Station and how that would impact the town of Chino Valley. My first question is, how many homes are in the Chino Valley Fire District? Second question, how much is each resident going to be charged when the Perkins Firehouse is built and operational, since Perkins has admitted that they will not be paying for staffing or apparatus? CAFMA says it's the town's responsibility. Can't say anything until it's approved. How does council plan on informing residents of Chino Valley and Polden of upcoming tax increases if this is approved? Fourth, is it illegal to impose a tax increase without voter comment? And then also, will there be a larger meeting place for the P&Z on February 4th, 2026, and the council meeting on February 24th, 2026 for a potential large turnout? That's all I have. Thank you.
Thank you. Madam Town Manager, if you'll take those questions and get responses to Ms. Ceremony?
Next I have is King Chan, not a Town of Chino Valley resident.
Good evening, Council. King Chan, unincorporated Yavapai County. I'm very disappointed in the process being conducted for the Perkins Embry-Riddle airfield proposal. There has been what appears to be intentional acts to prevent people from voicing their opinions, the preferential treatment, and the intentional act of encouraging people to leave when open seats remained inside the meeting hall. The failure to notify people who were signed up on the town list for notifications. Nobody got notified other than on the Facebook page that we could see. Even town elected officials have engaged in misinformation. They want to compare the noise of the aircraft overhead from a traffic circle in the middle of Chino Valley, which, by the way, happens to be a natural highway, as you all know. In case they haven't noticed, the communities that are going to be directly affected do not have highways or even major roads passing through them. Well, we've been told that side-by-sides make more noise than planes. While that is true, individual side-by-sides do make more noise. Why don't you conduct a noise study to see exactly what the noise exposure truly is? In fact, to keep it apples to apples, let's make it a DNL study just like we've been provided by Embry-Riddle. If you want to be honest and transparent, have Embry-Riddle conduct a real flight demonstration. We're tired of hearing that they can only do so much because there isn't a runway. Okay, why don't we all go over to Seligman, we'll make it a picnic day, and they can fly the pattern of 4 aircraft. They can conduct touch-and-go landings, full stops, taxi back for 2 hours. Let's also make sure that they climb to the appropriate pattern altitude. Let's also make sure that they make the crosswind turns early because the proposed airport would require them to do so, and they can do that at Seligman safely. Members of the council, I would suggest that each of you need to be present for the entire demonstration at the departure end where the planes are actually taking off from, not from the approach end. Now, failing to ask for this impeaches your credibility, allowing for more opportunity for litigation. Let's also have them actually provide a real traffic pattern map and the approaches into the pattern instead of changing it every time when it's convenient for them. Let's also have them fly over the affected communities repeatedly like you would on a regular training day so that you can truly evaluate the noise involved. Step up, Chino Valley. We want you to help you guys. We want to be a part of the discussion, and right now there isn't. We're being told that we're lying about a lot of stuff, and yet nobody can tell us what we're not being genuine about. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, sir. Again, Town Manager, if you'll have the attorney address some of those charges, I think it would be necessary.
Next I have Amy Wolkin, not a Town of Chino Valley resident.
Good evening, Council. I'm the administrator of the 763-member Facebook group that opposes Perkins Airfield. We have been correcting any misinformation posted there when alternative facts are provided, and we've corrected mistakes that were posted. I'm here tonight to let you know that members of the Facebook group are growing increasingly frustrated and angry with this proposal, and with members of Planning and Zoning, as well as you, the Town Council. As you all know, when a person feels that decision makers are stepping on their throats and on their hearts, forcing an unwanted situation on them without feeling represented, the anger rises. There's also a general feeling that there are unknown facts or promises made between the town and the applicants, which contribute to the overall feeling of significant distrust and anger. I've heard words on the group like litigation against the town of Chino Valley, getting a referendum started, as well as an organized boycott of Chino Valley businesses, and I don't think any of us want that. I see that it's been decided not to have a larger venue for the February 3rd Planning and Zoning meeting, and you must realize that action silences people. I know they can't speak at that meeting, but by disallowing their presence visually is a means of silencing them. Please reconsider that decision, and please do provide a larger venue for the town council meeting when public comments are allowed. There have been several open meeting law violations filed with the Attorney General of the state after the January 6th meeting and again after January 20th. People need to see you, and they also need to be seen. Thank you for your time.
Thank you, ma'am. And Madam Town Manager, that's coming your direction also.
That was the last one I had filed.
Thank you very much. Item 4, current events, summaries, and reports. Status reports by mayor and council regarding current events. Bob?
No, sir.
Larry?
No, sir, thank you.
Robert?
No, sir.
Sherry?
No.
John?
No.
Eric?
No.
Wow, just me. Okay, I attended the Prescott Valley State of the Town function this afternoon. Very nicely done. They go into a lot of detail about different things, although half their presentation was by the Prescott Valley Chamber instead of the town of Prescott Valley, but they tried to make up for it in the end. Also, this afternoon, Kay Loster presented a very, very nice historical talk about the Del Rio property and north of there, from the time of the initial government out there up to present, what the town is doing. It was open to the public. I don't know whether it was posted. I'm sure it was, because there's over 100 people there, so the word got out somehow. And that is all I have, man. Town Manager, it's yours.
Thank you. Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, Council, and public. We have a couple of things. Just on that note, we did some posts, and we've had some people want to know about when events are, or when our council meetings are, and events like Kay Loster's. There is a place on our website you can sign up for notifications, and we encourage everybody to do that. And you can select the notifications that you'd like to sign up for. So whether that's council meetings, P&Z meetings, whether that's events at the library, and you will get notifications either by email or by text. So if you want to stay informed of when meetings are and when they change, that is the most efficient and effective way to do it. It goes directly to you. Otherwise, you can go in and check our website. On the note of talking about upcoming meetings, yes, indeed, the P&Z meeting will be on February 3rd, and that is the continuation of the item in deliberation that will be, as the public hearing was closed, so that will be just deliberations of P&Zs, and depending on the outcome of that, should they make a recommendation that goes to town council, it would go to the council at the next meeting on the 24th. And anticipating that there will be a large group that wants to talk to the public, we will have those on 2 separate days. If on the 3rd, the P&Z makes a recommendation to council, then we will publicize the plan, but the tentative plan would be on the 23rd. We would open the council meeting for public hearing in a big venue that has enough room for everybody and as much time as it takes for everybody to speak. That meeting would convene, close, and then reopen the next night for council deliberation. But we will give you more information on that. We don't know for sure until we can't anticipate what P&Z will do at their meeting. And finally, when you came in, you probably saw these. These are AZ WaterWise kits. And I know that probably everyone has heard the concern about our aquifer. We're in overdraft of our aquifer. Every year we take more out than we put back in. We have most of the people in our community are on wells rather than on our water system. So this is just another way that we can all do our part. And it contains things like a low flow shower head, an aerator that's low flow. It has a timer you can use for your irrigation, and a bunch of other cool tools to help you use less water and find ways for you can use less water in your homes and businesses. So they are free, and they are on the table out front, so feel free to take one on your way out. Thank you very much, Mr. Mayor.
Thank you very much. Item 5 is the consent agenda. Would anyone like to remove an item from the consent agenda to be heard separately?
Yes, let's,
Go ahead, Bob.
go ahead, Eric. You got in there first.
Sure.
I'm positive.
Okay, thank you. Mr. Mayor, I'd like to remove consent agenda item 5A.
Okay. Bob?
I'd like to remove consent agenda 5B.
Takes care of the consent agenda. All right, item A, consideration and possible action to adopt resolution number 2026-1299, approving a call of election for fall 2026, designating election dates and purposes, voter registration deadlines, and the place and the last date for candidates to file nomination papers. Madam Town Clerk.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. So this is actually a request of me to remove this item from the consent agenda. There's been some new legislation filed that is going to potentially change our primary election date to what it is scheduled for right now. I believe they're looking at the last Tuesday in July. So I would request that we hold off on approving this call of election. My hope is that that new legislation will go into effect fairly quickly. I don't know if that's going to happen or not, but I would like to move this to next month and hope in that time that they will get that legislation passed and I can give you a call of election that has the proper date. If not, we'll go forward with approving as is, and then I'll come back before you when that new legislation goes in and we'll amend it at that time.
Okay, so you'd like to move this to next month's meeting on the 10th of February?
I think let's go for the 24th of February.
All right. Mr. Vice, your motion.
Make a motion, we approve I make a motion, we move consent agenda item 5A to February 24th, 2026.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Aye.
Barry?
Aye.
And John, you were an aye also?
That is correct.
Thank you. Motion carries. Item B, consideration and possible action to approve the Arizona State Parks Off-Highway Vehicle, OHV, project sponsor agreement for engineering and survey work for the Chino Valley Regional OHV staging area at Old Home Manor. Madam Soderberg.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of the council. So as you know, at our last meeting, I presented that we were awarded $220,000 through the Arizona State Parks OHV grant program. And so this grant agreement before you today is what is the next step to start receiving those funds.
Well,
Okay, so the grant was approved.
Yes, it was.
Okay. After the engineering and the survey work is done, that's what the grant was for, right?
Yes.
Okay. How long do we have before any construction is done?
So I believe that we have 2 years from the beginning of the grant agreement to complete that survey work. And then after that, we can proceed with applying for additional funds for construction.
I asked you last time if we knew where the money was coming from, and you didn't know as of that time?
We do not have construction funds allocated to this project at this time. However, having a successful completion of the design and of the grant funds, we will be able to pursue AZ State Parks funding for construction. And I'm always looking at other grant opportunities.
How long do we get to, how long do we have to get that money?
Well, a design lives on, of course. Costs change, but there isn't a time constraint that design expires.
Okay, thank you.
Yeah. Any other
questions
questions?
answered, Bob?
Yes, sir.
Okay. I see no reason for a motion. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nothing to approve, is there?
Yes. This is the agreement. We do need.
Okay, I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we approve consent item 5B.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Thank you very much. Item
Thank you,
6,
Jesse.
action item. Public hearing regarding the town of Chino Valley's application to the EPA Brownfields Cleanup Grant Opportunity Harvey Heritage Reclamation Project. I thought of Brody, you're up again.
It's me, and I apologize for my voice. I've been trying to catch a cold for the last week, and it's finally getting me. So, the town of Chino Valley has had the opportunity to apply to the Brownfield Cleanup Grant Program. And I'm going to wait for the presentation to come up. Thank you, Aaron. All right. So the Brownfield Cleanup Grant Program is through the EPA, so the Environmental Protection Agency. And this funding is intended to carry out cleanup activities of hazardous materials in buildings for public community use. So as you know, the town purchased the Fred Harvey Farm on Del Rio Ranch Springs this last February. And prior to the purchase, there were Phase 1 and Phase 2 site assessments completed to characterize the hazardous materials at the site. So at the time, pesticides and herbicides were recorded, as well as vehicular service equipment. And since these reports in the acquisition, further site assessments have been conducted, including a structure stabilization report, a lead-based paint, and asbestos testing report, which was actually completed as recent as December of this last year. So we have the opportunity to seek funding through the Brownfields Cleanup Program to abate hazardous materials in 3 of the structures and fence off the 4th structure because of its structural integrity. It's not on a foundation. So we are requesting $500,000, and there is no match requirement for all brownfield grants this year. So it's an opportunity that's too nice, too good, too sweet to miss. A requirement of this application is to provide public notice of the application and a draft of the application, which was posted to our website 2 weeks ago. Thank you to Mike, who did that for us. The public is invited to express comments on the draft application, and all comments will be considered in the final application, which will be submitted tomorrow. So with that, it is my recommendation that we open the floor to public comment.
Questions, Bob?
No, sir.
Larry?
No, sir.
Robert?
I know, great job.
Sherry? No. John?
No, no comments.
Eric?
None.
Mindy? I will open the public hearing. Is anyone wishing to comment on this item? Seeing none, to close the public hearing, we will move to item B since that item requires no action by us.
Thank you.
Item B, public hearing consideration and possible recommendation regarding the application from a new series 006 bar liquor license. Hi, Sarah.
Hi, good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. Sarah Burchell, Deputy Town Clerk. Applicant Richard Carl Hill II has applied with the state for a Series 6 bar liquor license for the sale of spirituous liquor at the log cabin located at 18 North Highway 89, Chino Valley. Mr. Hill is available to answer questions should the council have any. The police, planning, licensing, and fire departments have reviewed the application and have recommended approval with no comments. Staff posted the establishment with the necessary notices to meet the required 20-day period from January 6th, 2026 to January 27th, 2026. To date, staff has not received any written arguments in favor of or in opposition to the requested license. Upon reviewing the material provided by the Department of Liquor License and Control and conducting a public hearing, the council may recommend to the State Liquor Board to grant or deny the license or vote to make no recommendation. So if you have any questions for staff.
Questions, Bob?
Nope.
Larry?
Easy.
The heck you say?
I'm being charitable, okay?
Okay, I'll take it.
I got a list here.
Larry?
Start reading.
Do they currently have it? What currently is their license status?
It is in the process of being transferred. So Mr. Hill is purchasing the log cabin.
Perfect, no problem.
Robert?
No, sir.
Sherry?
No.
John?
No concerns.
Eric?
None.
None here. I will open the public hearing. Is there anyone like to comment on this? Seeing none, we'll close the public hearing and I will entertain a motion.
Okay, I make a motion. We approve the Arizona Liquor Board regarding the application for Richard Hill II for a new Series 006 liquor license located at the log cabin.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
A second.
Can I
Motion and a
clarify?
second, all in favor?
Can I clarify one thing, that you're approving a recommendation
Recommendation.
to the liquor board?
To the state liquor board, right?
Sorry, recommendation of approval.
Thank you.
Right, okay. Larry? Aye. Well, I just want to know if you had any questions. We're not voting yet.
No, I already went through that, I think, thank you.
Robert? Sherry?
No.
John?
No. No questions.
Good, thank you very much. Any questions for the applicant at all?
No, sir.
Seeing none, I'll entertain a motion.
We should be on the vote now. We've already
We're on
had,
a
we have
vote.
the motion
Sorry.
and the second. That's okay.
Yes. All in favor?
There we go.
Aye.
Aye.
Opposed? None heard, thank you. Wonderful. Golly. Item C, consideration possible action to approve resolution number 2026-1301. Will.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, members of council. Will Dingy, Assistant Director of Development Services. Tonight before you is probably the last subdivision you'll ever see before you guys due to state legislature change. But tonight before you is a request for a rural minor subdivision final plat for the Wineglass Lane Estates. There are two little unique facets to this subdivision than your typical subdivision that you get. This one specifically because it is considered rural and a minor. Rural means that your lot sizes are greater than 1 acre, and minor means that you're creating less than 10 lots, which this subdivision falls into. They're creating 4 lots of roughly, I think the smallest lot is 5 1/4 acres and the largest is 6 acres. So we trigger that minor subdivision. And because of that, there is currently an exemption in town code, the Unified Development Ordinance, Chapter 5.3.3 and Chapter 5.3.4, that once they fall into this classification, they have exemption for the mandate of connecting to municipal water and municipal sewer. So because this was submitted to us prior to September 1st, 2025, it's been in the process for a little while, they are granted that exemption, so they will be allowed to use on-site well and septic. The additional piece to this is how this came to our attention. Staff found out about this project after receiving a building permit for a home on site on a parcel that we did not have record of. And so after some investigation, we concluded that this, this property, the 22 acres, was subdivided at the county level without our approval. Once we determined this, we invited the property owner into our office to discuss, remediation of this, which included a penalty, which is part of our fee schedule, a $1,500 penalty. Discussed it with the property owner, went through the findings of fact that this property had been split and combined approximately 3 times since the parent parcel reset in 2020. We just did not catch it until we got a building permit. And so we are here before you tonight to make this kosher. So the property itself is located to the northeast of the intersection of East Road 4 North and North Road 1 East, outlined in blue. 22 acres in size, and you can see its current configuration is what we are considering tonight that county recognizes as 4 parcels. To the north and to the east is state land. To the south is AR5 land, and then to the west is commercial heavy. Here's the draft plat before you. 4 lots with an access through a private easement known as Wineglass Lanes that'll be maintained by the property owners. Lot 2 is the smallest at 4 1/4 acres. Lot 1 is the largest at 6 acres. Everything else, it does meet the code requirements set forth in Chapter 5 of the Unified Development Ordinance for minor rural subdivision. The item did go before the Planning and Zoning Commission on December 2nd, 2025. The Planning and Zoning Commission forwarded a recommendation of approval for final plat 2025-01. So the recommendation tonight is to approve resolution 2026-1301. But I was informed that there is a member of the public who would like to speak on this tonight. So we would ask that we do open a public hearing for this one.
Okay. We will allow that person to speak, certainly. Questions for the staff, Bob?
No.
Larry?
Will, as I understand it, they will not have to hook to water or sewer if they become available?
That is correct, Councilmember Holt.
Okay, thank you.
Robert?
Just curious, how far are they away from water and sewer?
That's a good distance. I think the closest would be going uphill from the Perkinsville 44, so we're looking at over a mile for sure.
Okay. And then, this isn't the first time we've had lot splits without our knowledge.
Correct.
I believe in the new, Katie might be able to answer this, in the new fee schedule, we're raising that penalty for that, correct? Just want to make sure we are raising that penalty. Because this seems to be happening.
We did raise the penalty pretty significantly to
Okay.
the 1,500.
Great.
And if I might on that, council member, the mayor and I were at a meeting with the county on things that towns need from them, and one of them was a process for that they verify lot splits with the towns before they record them. So that's one thing that they know is on our agenda, and a lot of towns echoed that same request once that was made by the mayor. So we're hoping that's something they'll put in their procedure.
Good deal. Thank you.
Sherry? No. John?
Just one, Terry, was that discussion before or after the previous county lot split south of town?
That meeting was probably 6 weeks ago. It was
Okay.
recent, yes.
Okay, then it was probably, all right, because this is like the second time in recent history this has happened.
At
But
least.
that's all I have, thank you.
Yes.
Is the applicant here, Will?
Yes.
Does anybody have any questions for the applicant?
No, sir.
No.
Robert? Sherry? No. John?
No.
Eric?
No.
Okay, I understand, Mr. Bloomfield, you'd like to speak on this item. Please come forward, sir.
Thank you. Good evening, Mr. Mayor, and Vice Mayor, and Council. My name's Ed Bloomfield. I own property there at that corner is the very northwest corner of the property there. All of that property in there is heavy commercial, being used as heavy commercial and industrial in there. And we met with these folks on the property in discussion here about 3 weeks ago, 4 weeks ago, I'm not sure what it was, been a while back. And we discussed the fact that this industrial stuff and this heavy commercial is all there. And I just want to make very well known that we have discussed it with these folks. They know we're there, and they don't have a reason to bring it before council again to fight us on what we're doing down there. We are there, we've been in business in there and operating in there for years. And if they put a house in there, I don't want somebody coming up before the council and saying, hey, we got to put a stop to these people over there. Just so long as we're aware of that. And like I said, the council or the Campbell Family Trust members were there, myself and Will, in that meeting and on the site. So we're there. We plan to stay there. We plan to keep operating what we're doing. We plan to continue to be good neighbors in our neighborhood there as we have been being. And we plan on taking care of what we're doing. But we also don't want to fight some new neighbor that come in there and just because they want to get rid of us. Okay? Thank you.
Thank you, sir. Duly noted. It's in the minutes. I will entertain a motion.
Tom,
Bob, you have a
I have
question?
a question for Will now.
So do I.
Okay.
So didn't I read that that they were all signing off, saying that they wouldn't go any further with any noise, smell, or anything like that in the minutes from P&Z?
That they understand that is their.
But they were signing something.
Correct. I believe it is part of their disclosure, yeah.
Does that help you, Ed?
Yep, I just want to make sure that they know we're there.
It's in the paperwork.
Just saying hi, we're here.
It's in the paperwork.
And Will, is there any wall on the west side of that property?
Sorry,
Are
Councilman.
they going to be required to put up a wall on the west side of that property?
The subdivision will not.
'Cause
Usually,
I don't think the people that have the commercial heavy property should be forced to put up.
No, there's no requirement. Correct. Usually, if it was a new commercial coming in, they would have to, but it's existing. That is not a requirement.
And we're not requiring the subdivision to put up a wall.
No, we're not.
Okay.
Any other questions?
No.
Larry?
No, sir.
John?
No, sir.
Okay, hearing none, I will entertain a motion.
I make a motion, we approve resolution number 2026-1301, approving the final plat for the Wineglass Lane Estates, a 4-lot, 22-acre rural minor subdivision located at 1170 East Road 4 North.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second, all in favor?
Aye.
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 Thank you very much. Any opposed? None heard, motion carries, thank you. Item D, consideration of possible action to approve ordinance 2026-962. Mr. Dingy, you're back.
All right. So this will be very familiar because we just talked about it. Text Amendment 2025-07, exemption deletion for UDO section 5.3.3 and 5.3.4. So what we were just talking about, these two sections within the Unified Development Ordinance were created back in October of 2020 following our mass text amendment for the addressing of the prolific lot split subdivision situation that Chino Valley was had experienced. As part of that process, these following sections were created that essentially was a bone to give to the lot split community, that you can continue to do such for the next 5 years until September 1st, 2025. And within the provisions set by the lot split ordinance. However, if you create a lot, you do not have to meet those criteria. You do not have to connect to municipal water and municipal sewer. So that exemption came and went on September 1st, 2025. The project previous had submitted their initial paperwork prior to that date, so we honor that going forward. There are no current projects in the works that are looking to have this exemption go forward, so it's come and gone. There was, in looking back over the minutes from the Planning and Zoning Commission hearing, there was some double talk in there of what this was actually doing versus time limits and things like that. So the project before us was exempt under this ordinance. The item tonight is to remove that because that exemption has come and gone. So based on that, the Planning and Zoning Commission held a public hearing on December 2nd, 2025. The Planning and Zoning Commission forwarded a recommendation of approval for text amendment 2025-07. So the recommendation before you tonight is to approve ordinance 2026-962.
Questions, Bob?
No, sir.
Larry?
No.
Robert?
No, sir.
Sherry?
No.
John?
No.
Eric?
No.
Nothing again. I'll entertain a motion.
Make a motion, we approve ordinance number 2026-962, amending the Town of Chino Valley Unified Development Ordinance, Chapter 154, Chapter 5, subsection 5.3.3 and 5.3.4 to remove outdated water and sewer connection exemptions from minor and rural subdivisions.
Do I have a motion? Do I have a second?
Second.
A motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? None heard. Motion carries. Thank you very much. Item E, consideration of possible action to approve a placemaking logo for future wayfinding signage program. Mac and Maggie.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and Council. This is going to be real, hopefully quick for you guys, as I'm the last person up today. So we are talking about the wayfinding logos today. On September 23rd of last year, staff and council had a wayfinding program study session, gathering council input on the placemaking logos and branding. Again, wayfinding signs are essential navigational tools that help people find their way through cities and towns. They are also a placemaking and branding visual tool, giving a town a sense of identity and recognition. Town funds will be needed to be budgeted in future years to implement the design plan. So at the study session, I'm going to show you two logos that we talked about and kind of looked at as the top two of the 5 that we looked at for you guys to choose from tonight. This is the first one. That's a more simple design than the original Discover Chino Valley logo. And on to your right, you'll see the example of what it would look like on top of wayfinding signs. And then the second one is just our original logo, still all within the brand kit, by the way, with the Discover Chino Valley. And sorry for the mocked up, it doesn't look very good on the right side, but just to give you an impression of what that would look like. And staff recommends approving a placemaking logo for a future wayfinding signage program.
Questions, Bob?
That's it.
What's the cost?
So that will be in the future, Councilmember Shacker. Right now, this is just approval of the local. That's already been paid for and everything. So down the line, when we implement a wayfinding program, we don't have numbers on that yet. And we weren't going to try to budget for that yet this year. So it would be next year that we would bring that to council.
Do you have no idea?
No, sir, I do not.
Larry?
No, sir.
Robert?
No questions?
Sherry?
No.
John?
Just one, Maggie, we're approving logo 1 or 2, or are we approving both?
Just 1 or 2.
Okay,
So
I have
picky
my
one.
favorite, number 1.
Eric?
So how are we doing this? We're approving 1 or 2?
We're gonna go with 1 first and see who's wants it,
Oh,
and then
we
we'll
have
go
to
to number
roll
2.
call?
And
Well, I think it's more of just a discussion amongst the council of kind of who likes which one, and then I would make a motion based on what that majority would be. Just my suggestion, though.
Okay.
Real quick question on these, are they wooden signs or are they gonna be the metal, like your regular?
Metal like the regular, just it's copacetic to the wayfinding sign itself.
Yeah,
Okay.
that's all I have.
Okay. Bob, 1 or 2?
I don't like either of them.
Okay.
Thank you for your honesty.
Larry?
1.
Robert?
I'm with Bob. Neither.
Sherry?
2.
John?
1,
Eric?
I like 2, it sticks with the current theme of what we have going on. Or the current.
So we currently have a tie.
That's one of the great things about being a mayor. Sometimes you get to break that tie.
So the original, when we launched our tourism campaign, this was the first logo that was created. But just so you guys know, we stayed within that brand concept with the same colors on schematic 2.
Brand
So,
concept, that's what I was
or
thinking.
number 1, pardon me.
Number 1?
Number 1 is the one that we've created for wayfinding based on our brand kit that the original Discover Chino Valley. So the colors and the theme.
And if I might add to that, for those that don't like either, as you remember, we came to you, I think, with 6 originally, and based on that, these were the top 2 that council asked us to go back and develop. So that's where they came from. Still doesn't mean you have to like either one, but that's how we got to these 2.
So again, here's 1, what it will look like on top of the sign, and 2 is the original logo.
1 or 2?
Well, it's
about time. Mayor, if I can help, Maggie, is this
it's a tie right now, and I like 2. So I will entertain a motion, since it's 3-2, to approve 2.
I make a motion to approve placemaking sign logo number 2 for future wayfinding signage program.
I have a motion, do I have a second?
I'll second it.
Jeez.
Thank you very much. All in favor?
Your own, John.
We'll do this on a roll call just to make sure. Bob?
No.
Larry?
Yes.
Enthusiasm is wonderful.
I know.
Robert?
Nope.
Sherry?
Yes.
John?
I'm gonna say yes now.
And I will follow it with a yes. Motion carries. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
I never thought a sign would be that difficult.
And although Maggie said she was last, we still have one more
We
item.
still have
so-
one more, yeah.
Oh, sorry. to
Item F,
disappoint.
public hearing, consideration and possible action to approve resolution number 2026-1300, adopting the updated consolidated fee schedule. Madam Pill.
Good evening, Mayor, Vice Mayor, and council members. As you recall, back in November, we discussed a few items that were left off or that came up after our fee adoption last July. So with that, I'll just go into the few that we are adjusting right now, and then we can go into the public hearing, or I can answer any questions that you all have. So for retail merchandise, supplies, or promotional items, it's just adding it to our official fee schedule. So the actual cost plus a 10 to 150% markup. That's typically cat carriers at the animal shelter that are cardboard, leashes, things like that. And then concession items at aquatics, and those are typically the actual cost plus a 50% to 300% markup. And generally those are rounded to dollar increments just for ease of transactions. And then potential special event rentals at Old Home Manor and the Fred Harvey property. Those are variable, so that would be depending on what the actual event is. Those are new items, so it would be a discussion between town manager, myself, and community services or any other directors that are needed to make sure that we're getting cost recovery for any events that want to occur out there. So if there's something that's coming in that'll bring people into our community, it lets us look at those on a per event basis and set those rates. Currently, you know, there's nothing happening out at Fred Harvey, but this is just so it can in the future. And then all room and building rentals have a $20 cost per lost or not returned key card. That was changed from the initial $10 that we had recommended just to discourage loss after discussion with council. And then the cemetery, now that the town took over the cemetery, the actual opening and closings of both single depth, double depth, and urn remains are being incorporated into the fee schedule as well. Following this meeting tonight and approval of that resolution, the fees would be effective March 1st, 2026. And with that, I'd be happy to answer any questions.
Bob?
No.
Larry?
No, sir.
Robert?
No.
Eric, or I'm sorry, Sherry?
No.
John?
I do not.
Eric?
None.
I have none. I'll open the public hearing. Is there anyone who'd like to come forward and speak on this item? None seen. I'll entertain a motion. And close the public hearing.
Close the public hearing. I'll make a motion to approve resolution number 2026-1300, adopting the updated consolidation fee schedule with an effective date of March 1st, 2026.
I have a motion. Do I have a second?
Second.
I have a motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
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 Opposed? Hearing none, motion carries. Item 7, Sherry.
I make a motion, we adjourn.
No.
I have a
Second.
motion and a second. All in favor?
Aye.
Opposed?
Roll day.
None heard. Motion carries. Thank you. I apologize for my confusion mid-meeting. We're out.